favorite romantic story. It could be a movie, a novel, a TV series, anything that's really stuck with you, because I definitely have some of my own. So number 1, Wall-E. You know, a little trash collecting robot. He doesn't amount to much, but he falls in love with Eve because she's slick, she's modern, she flies. The movie is literally out of this world. And next you have Tarzan. You know, he grows up with apes, he's primal, he's primitive, he falls in love with Jane. She's civilized, she's smart, she's an artist. People went wild for this movie. My personal favorite is Tangled, right? A little girl, she shelters her whole life, she's a good girl, she listens to everything her mother says, and she meets a bad boy, and she falls in love with him. And you'll notice from all these examples I gave that they're all opposites. You know, they all hate each other in the beginning, but they somehow love each other's differences and embrace their differences at the very end. So you're probably thinking, Natalie, what actually happens after opposites attract? Because I did some research, I watched Tangled for the 17th time, and I realized that they only actually get together in the last 5 minutes. So what actually happens after opposites attract? And you're probably thinking, Natalie, nobody wants to watch that stuff because it's boring. Look at it. Cinderella 2 Dreams Come True. Who the hell wants to watch this? It's boring because they've already reconciled their differences. But to that I say, it's actually very exciting, and I speak from a personal experience in a relationship with my parents. My parents are such different people, I honestly wonder why they ever got married. For starters, so how are they different? They have different political parties. So in Taiwan, there's a Democratic Progressive Party, and there's also the Kuomintang, so the KMT. So the DPP is what my mom supports, so they think it stands for like civil rights, independence, you know, gay marriage. The KMT is basically pro-money, and my dad likes money, so that's what And the next part, how they differ, is my mom is Christian. She grew up going to church every week. Whenever we go to her side of the family, we're always doing prayers before meals. As for my dad, he grew up Buddhist, so when we go to his side of the family, you know, we're going to temples, we're lighting incense, or whenever we go to their houses, there's always like Buddhist scriptures playing in the background. And so the next part is how their personalities differ. So my mom diligently follows Law and Order, like literally Law and Order. She thinks, you know how you watch a first episode and you get bored and you're like, forget this season, but no. She's gonna go watch season 1, season 2, season 3, she'll finish the whole thing. But then for my dad, if I had to think of a film to describe him, it'd probably be The Purge He always says his philosophy in life is rules are meant to be broken. I'm like, that's how you end up in jail. So like jaywalking, yes. Pirated DVDs, buy them. You know, everything he's like, rules are just meant to be broken. And so the final fifth part is parenting. And my mom's philosophy on parenting is control. And you thought this was by Amy Chua, no, it was by Cynthia Wang, okay? She always tells, I think the best example of this is our instrument playing. She went to every single one of our rehearsals. She's always at our private lessons, always at our orchestra rehearsals. And you know, I said, Mom, can I buy Spotify? She's like, why do you need Spotify? Just make music by yourself. It would be The Subtle Art of Not Giving a But you know, there's always that parent where you don't need to switch screens for, that's my dad. And finally, so you're probably thinking, how in the world do they possibly make it work since they're such polar opposites? And what they do is they cave. But not like cave into each other's demands, because that's not a healthy relationship. What they do is cave. And so this is an acronym I've made after years of thorough research. What C stands for is compromise. And what that means is you have to give something up for yourself. So what they do with elections is actually they never go to the Taiwan elections together. Only one of them goes to vote. Because the idea is if they both went, then they would be canceling out each other's votes and it would be and so it's great whenever it's my mom's turn to go to elections because it's like holiday, yay! And then you're probably thinking, how do they ever fight at home? And so what they do is my mom stays in the living room, my dad stays in his room, they watch their own political shows, and that's how they reconcile the differences in the political sphere. So finally, the second, what A stands for, is accept. So instead of giving something up, is you take something in. So what they do with religions is they actually practice each other's religions. So we pray every day at the dinner table, but even my dad sits there respectfully, but he actually opens his eyes the entire time. And I know this because once I opened my eyes, just to take a peek at the food, and I saw him staring right at me. And then so after dinners, when we're in Taiwan, we'll go to his sister's house, and there they have like a little incense lighting place set up, and that's what we'll do over there. And my mom, although she doesn't participate in the act, she'll also be there the entire time. So that's how they accept each other's differences. And finally, when it comes to, sometimes compromising and accepting doesn't work, so you just have to vent. So when it comes to rule breaking, my mom, right, she knows to follow the rules. We don't torrent, we don't download, we go to the movie theaters. But then to that, my dad always complains, why are you paying $100 when I could probably get 100 pirated DVDs? And that's what So this is actual footage of our house, no I'm kidding. But it's getting seriously close to that amount. He always buys new DVDs. I think he just likes the thrill of doing something illegal. And my mom just loves it when the DVD is glitchy because then she can complain about it for the entire night. She's like, why are there Korean subtitles? I can't even read them. And so the next part is sometimes it doesn't work out and you just have to do exertion of total control. And no, I couldn't think of a single word for this. And so this is an accurate hierarchy of our family. So you'll see that the dad has no power, mom is on top. I'm sure you guys have always experienced this. You're like, Dad, can I go to the movies? Dad, can I go out and buy this? And he's like, go ask your mom. So I'm like, what power do you even have in this household? And since this is how our family works, you're probably wondering, how did their children turn out? Great. Well, but since parenting was controlled by my mom, so when we were this age, we basically adhered to all of our values. We went to Christian club, we were there, during choir, we did all those singing things in Christian club. When it came to, say, parenting, we did everything she asked. We were always playing our instruments. Religion, and so everything we did, we just followed what my mom believed in. I also believe in the Democratic Progressive Party. But as you become older, you begin to realize that not all these things are true. So now, I don't think that a single party is always right, because there's arguments for both. Or religions, I don't necessarily think that I'm Christian anymore. I think I could be Christian and Buddhist, because if the ceiling were to fall on me at this very moment, and I were to die, I'm probably going to hell, because I haven't been adhering to the one God rule. And probably if I was Buddhist at this moment and the ceiling fell on me, I'd probably reincarcerated to like a worm or something, and I can't do it. And also, I used to follow rules so closely, but now I think, why do I need to follow rules? Before, I used to think the senior student card was useless. Now, I have to use it, so get your girl who can do both. So as we kind of enter an increasingly polarized world, you really get like far left, far right. I think there's value in just being able to see the contrast in people and being able to embrace that. So I think that's what we should go forward doing as we carry forward in the world. Thank you.